Initiating launch sequence.
3, 2, 1.
Like smell his hair.
That'll do, pig. They want to be petty, you be petty. Or
How do you tell a guy they're moving way too fast without hurting their feelings? He put way too fast without hurting their
you
feelings.
don't. You stop, self-analyze. Is he moving too fast or are you moving slow? Are you afraid to show emotions right
shit.
away? Are you afraid to open up?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So after you've kind of sit in with those feelings, I would say you can go two routes. Like if you in fact you're like, no, okay, like he's telling me I love you. Like, because I've had people, I've gone on dates and like, they've gone into midnight and stuff and they're like, I love you. And I've been like, inks. Like it's too soon.
I've been through that
Like,
too.
I get it.
Don't say I love you the first date.
And it's like love, it's such a powerful word, but yet it's also not that complicated. Like if you feel like you love someone at the moment, great. But if you want any prospect of a relationship, like that might to some people it's gonna be like whoa, easy there, Nancy. But I've had those situations, and saying I love you too fast leads to something ending really fast. Like it's like almost like a fire that ignites. It's like an explosion, and then it just
Yeah.
But I would say analyze that, and if you think he in fact is they're moving too fast, I would just say have that conversation. Again, I think it's the repetitive.
So
theme,
for
like,
me,
talk about it. Tell them like, hey, don't tell them you're moving too fast. It doesn't have to be projected onto them, but you can also say like, hey, I think you can frame it in this way. Like,
right,
hey,
it's
I
how
think
you say it.
I might need to go a little bit slower. I take my time. I can give you a time frame, but just to let you know, if you feel like I'm not moving and in the same pace as you, just know that if you are interested, then just let them know. Like I might move a little. I might be slower to ease into a relationship or whatever this might be going to, but just let them know and also acknowledge if it's not a bad thing to say these things.
That's what I said essentially too. Was I'm going back to what I told Javi in another episode. We were talking about fuckboys, where I was like, pain is part of life. Things are painful when you hear them sometimes. Like you're not going to avoid pain, but how you deliver the information is really what's going to show your maturity level. You're also not telling him to stop, that you want him to stop seeing you. You're saying, hey, I don't move as fast as you in these situations. Maybe explaining to him why or what you feel in your body when that happens, and being like, hey, like, I need this. I need more space. I need you to ask me before you show up to my house. I need you to like, I can't text you throughout the day so much. It's not really my thing. This is really kind of how you figure out if you're compatible or not. If you want to you're not telling him to stop seeing you. You're just telling him you need more time.
Mm-hmm.
You need a different pace. Explain that to him. Make sure you emphasize that you don't want to stop seeing him. You just need your dynamic to change so you feel safe and comfortable, because both of you have to feel safe. Both of you have to feel comfortable. And like, it's not always, I've been there. I've been where you are. Okay. Because so I want to have an episode on this, but look up attachment styles, because it's crucial to know them if you're going to have. Do you know your attachment style? Do you know? No.
Like it's a little bit. I think I'm a little bit of everything. I get attached really easily.
Oh no, like not love language. Love language is different from attachment styles. There's 4 attachment styles. 3 of them are unhealthy and 1 of them secure. And you can be different ones with different people, and like they're also like, how do you say it? They're on a spectrum. So like you might be an anxious attachment style. There's disorganized, which is the one I have. It's the hardest one to work with. There's like there's another one. Disorganized, anxious, avoidant, and then secure. Secure is harder to find, and it's a healthy one. But it sounds like they might have an anxious attachment style.
You think so?
And anxious attachment styles are like, I want to explain all of them, but we don't have a lot of time to read up on them. Read up on the anxious attachment style one because it sounds like he might be anxious. And I've dated people who were anxious, and who had an anxious attachment style, and I thought they were clingy. An anxious attachment style comes from when your parents or people that you loved growing up or in other relationships didn't meet your needs. They made you feel like they could abandon you at any moment, emotionally or physically. Maybe your parents walked out on you and left you or something, and so you feel like the person that you love could leave you at any moment. So you need to hold on to them. You need to do everything you can to hold on to them.
Don't let them go.
You can't let them go. You need to you need to have them to commit to you ASAP, or else they'll leave.
Or somebody else is gonna get them.
Yeah, and it's this anxiety in you that says that your partner will do that. And so sometimes people have that, and you need to decide whether you're willing to deal with that, because there's nothing wrong with him per se. It's just the way that his body has functioned in order to secure his love.
I also think there's
Secure
also
love.
a good factor of age. Like let's say you guys are in your 20s. It might be a little bit of that, or let's say you're a little bit older. It's not always. It could be a green flag of someone who sees you, who they've had enough experience, they dated around, and they're like, I like this. I think he's great. Some people are very intuitive, and they know when they like someone, and he's just not doing that whole I'm not gonna text them and I'm gonna text them in half an hour. They're not playing those games, so that not necessarily is not a negative thing. It could be a green flag that this guy just he knows he likes you. He probably has a good grasp of who you are, and he's just not doing all those.
It could also be that he's just excited.
Yeah.
And he just needs to hear you say, hey, could you slow down? So he could be like, oh, okay, yeah, let me give you whatever time you need. Like sometimes people understand that. I would still look up attachment styles. So anybody, and this is just a general advice, look up your attachment style, take the test. Mine is disorganized. It's a really hard one to work with. We'll have another episode where we explain everything and we talk about them. But yeah.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Have that conversation. If you're in your 20s, look up the 4 attachment styles, diagnose yourself. No, but it's
if you take the test, it will help you. If I didn't know about attachment styles and I didn't go to therapy, I would not be in a relationship with my partner still.
Yeah, maybe you're traumatized and he isn't, and he's worked enough.
Hopefully he's not a stalker.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Is that you or me? That's me. I think I'm
You're
next.
7. You're 7.
Bitch, I need help on how to flirt. LMAO. Any tips?
I'm as lost as you are. Touch him a little bit, like on his thigh, or like smell his hair.
Yeah, if this is this, hold on. Yeah, you're at a bar, don't do that. You know the person you guys have. You know each other. You have a little bit of, you've hung out.
I don't know how to flirt. Okay, yeah. I'm really bad at flirting.
No, is that what you're showing your tits?
I'm only good at flirting. I'm only good at flirting when I know you like if I think you think, if I get a signal that you're down,
you're gonna be like,
then I'm like, oh. But otherwise, I'm just like, I'm too scared.
So what tips do you have for them? You're like, no, bitch. Let me. Same question.
Write them a poem. And then recite it.
Okay, I'll take over from here.
Oh, you know what though? No, I do. What did I write? I did. So on social media, I am better at flirting because there's less risk involved that I'll get rejected. So I'll be like,
digital courage.
Yes, exact digital courage. Talking to them on Instagram, call them chulo or guapo or handsome.
Cute names.
Cutie. Like, hey, handsome, how are you? Or like, hey, chulo, when will you be here? Or whatever. Kind of gauge. It'll help you gauge kind of
how they respond to you. Yeah, because flirting is mostly taking initiative and then also knowing how to lead after that, because you have to be like,
I can already tell he's better at flirting. I mean, you are. I've seen you flirt. You are very flirty. I am very I've seen him flirty with all kinds of guys.
I have a very flirty personality, and sometimes it gets me in trouble because I've had a lot of people who think I'm like hardcore flirting with them, and it's like, no, that's me being nice. But of course, I admit that there's things that I do that can come off that way. But I'm good. I know when to set a boundary. But Jokingly, I was gonna say just stare at them, but like that used to be like
Oh,
really
I do,
big. Like,
I do that.
you ever been at a club or
I
at a
do that.
bus? Like, you see someone and you're just like,
I do. Okay, so here's the thing with me with flirting is one of my friends, my friend JC, has told me this, and then I had another person tell me. At first, I thought he was being a little bitch, like a hater,
Yes.
and he's probably listening to this. I really thought he was. I was like, "You're a bitch," and then but then somebody else was like, "No, you do that," and I don't think you mean to. Oh, so I have really intense eyes, and sometimes I am. If I'm like going out of my way to stare at you and I'm not then yes, I'm flirting. But sometimes I'm just like, I just look over and catch someone's eyes and they think I'm flirting because my eyes look intense. And JC was like, bitch, people think you want to fuck the shit out, you want to fuck them, and you're just like looking over at them, like
but I've
just
seen
glancing.
you do that in conversations also. Like when you're talking to someone, you're like you'll
Damn.
like,
Yeah. And so a lot of people sometimes they're like, oh, he's trying to fuck me, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm
but
listening.
the eyes do work from far away. Like
yeah. So that's like the classic. But I
the
would
smile, the
yeah.
smirk, the smirk.
Yeah, smile,
Like
make
this. Hold on.
conversation.
Let me pretend the camera's. There you go. Like that.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah.
Or you
Sorry,
could just-
if you're not watching this, I just smirked at the camera.
Or
you
you
can't
could-
really see it.
You could also just always do one of this, like
There we go.
Not a
yeah,
wink,
the
but just
eyes.
kind of like
almost
like a wink where they're-
Smize.
almost like a.
smizing.
I can't smize. I'm gonna be like this. No, but like it's like almost like a wink, so that they're kind of like, is he winking at me or
is
was
he
he
like-
just blinking?
yeah.
And then you could get to see, because if they try to figure it out, they might approach you. So it's kind of like flirting. Flirting, it's more about inviting someone rather than throwing yourself at them. So
That's a good
you.
way of looking
Yes,
at
thank
it.
you.
Wow.
I'll write that one down. No, but you have to something that I asked someone about this also, and they said like you can exploit what you have, like exploit the things that are innate to you,
Exploit them?
exploit them. So meaning, let's say you're
Like if you have nice legs, like rub your leg.
yeah, like show them off, and then you can catch. It's sort of like you're throwing. It's like throwing bait. Yeah,
If you like your dick, you just go
yeah. Just,
just
grab it, like
grab it.
so you
and
could
then
do a
you
lot of
stare
yeah.
at them. Like that.
Thinking like how it's gonna look, we're just like
Or like if you like your arm, just be
yeah,
like,
just
"I have
show your
nice
arms. Yeah, so stuff like
Like
either
that.
physical or
Yeah.
personal things. Like let's say you're funny, just make someone laugh.
He
Let's say
does
you're-
that when
let's-
he's flirting.
yeah.
He does that. I've seen you do
Yeah, if I have someone
seen it
cackling, I'm like, you're mine.
it. He's like,
That'll do, pig.
or
yeah.
just go up to him and be like, "You're so cute.
Yes.
Can I suck your dick?"
Ask. But it has to be you have, like I said, exaggerate things that are innate to you, because it really has to come from you, because you don't want to play an act.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be like sexual. If you're not very sexual, don't be sexual, because then they're gonna feel
right.
like
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Don't
like, it has
pretend
to
to be
be-
something you're not.
that's why I say exaggerate something about yourself.
Play at. I
Yeah.
think what you're saying. Another
Play
way
your
of saying it is play at your strengths. Yeah. Like play at your strengths. If you're funny, make them laugh. If you like, I don't know, if you have like nice biceps, be like,
Yes.
you want to touch my bicep? That's such a douchey thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That's a good way of looking at it.
But also
Play
be
at your
mindful
strengths.
like how the person's perceiving it, because you don't want to seem pushy. It, like I say, it's like you're putting yourself out there. So it's how they respond, where it gives you the green light or the yellow light.
Exactly. Okay, so one time I'm the story time.
Yes.
So one time I was on a plane. I was a flight attendant. So I was flying with another flight attendant, this girl. She was annoying, but she was pretty,
What's her name?
I guess. Like she was considerably, I guess you would consider, most people would consider her pretty. I mean, she was pretty. Okay. She was pretty.
Conventionally pretty.
So, I mean, she's kind of boring. I mean, I don't know. She was just a typical, like a generic kind of like white girl, but whatever. She was pretty. So she's like talking to me in the back of the plane. And she says, "Oh my God, like, guys are always hitting on me everywhere I go, and it's really frustrating. And like, we don't always want that. Like, can people just leave me alone? Like, this whole trip, people have been hitting on me, and it's getting on my nerves. And I was like, really?
Does she
Wait.
talk like this to people? Like,
No, I don't know.
No?
But wait. So then she's like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And she's just complaining for like 5 minutes, just talking out loud. Okay. And people are boarding, so you can hear her. This guy is like standing in the back row listening to us, okay? And then he goes up to her and he's like, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. And he like stops her as
but I am
she's
gonna
talking.
interrupt.
As she's talking, yes, it's this white guy. As she's talking, she's ranting to me about how much she hates that guys are hitting on her. Like, she's been getting hit on the whole trip. She's just getting really annoyed. And he stops her and he's like, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you are really pretty. I don't blame them. And she's like, thank you. And he's like, what's your name? And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like,
Where do you live?
he's
What
like,
do you
it's
do?
good to meet you. You're really pretty. I just wanted to say, like, you are really beautiful. And so he turns around and sits down, and she looks at me, and I just like looked at her. I just started laughing because I was like, don't be. My point of this is, if you're flirting, don't be as dumb as straight men. Like, actually pay attention to the person you're flirting with.
Yeah, like,
you know
she's
what I
complaining
mean?
about flirting. Don't
She's
go and flirt
complaining
with
about
her.
flirting. Don't flirt with her. If this person is looking at you like, I don't want to touch your bicep, get the fuck out of my face. Put the bicep away.
Put the guns down.
But put the bicep away. He doesn't want to touch it. Just, walk away. But yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, if you're pretty, flaunt it. But just know, flirt with caution.
Yeah, flirt with caution. Make sure it's consensual.
Yes.
That they're happy. They're like going along with it. Oh, when is the ideal or typical time frame for saying "I love you"?
Never. Never. Don't put yourself out. They're gonna break your. No, I'm
I
kidding.
hate you.
No, I think it's like it is. Sometimes you should say it when you feel it, but at the same time, you have to. It's something very vulnerable, so you do have to feel comfortable, and you have to have trust. You can't. I get it. You feel it. You feel like you love someone, but if you don't feel that trust is there, hold off. But otherwise, I would say whenever you feel it, say it. It's one of those things that nobody should be afraid to hear that or take that the wrong way. Unless, I mean, I can think of places because like Madonna said, like everybody loves you when they're about to come.
That makes sense.
So it's just
true.
know that
Yeah.
not everybody is gonna, just because somebody said it doesn't mean they mean it. So if you really have to mean it when you say it. Otherwise, don't say it.
Yeah, I wrote down that there's never a wrong time to do it. Sometimes someone falls before the other person. Someone might fall in love before the other person just because people have to put way too much emphasis on whether or not they hear it back. If this person is someone that loves you and is committed to you, and they have chosen to be in a relationship with you, whether or not you fall in love first or at the same time or not, it doesn't matter. Trees don't bloom at the same time. Plants don't bloom at the same time. Every plant blooms when it's time. It will get there. It will happen when it happens. Don't be scared to say it. Sometimes someone falls in love first or vice versa. There's a lot of reasons why someone might not fall in love with you at the same time, but it doesn't mean that they don't have love for you, and it doesn't mean that they don't want to keep committing to you so that they can fall in love with you. But there's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't feel it maybe at the same time as you. Maybe they have a different perspective of time.
Yeah, don't say it if you're expecting to hear it back.
Right. Like maybe it's like maybe they're guarded, maybe they're scared. There
They've
could
been
be
hurt.
Right. There could be a lot of different reasons why they might not say it back right away.
They're just a wounded little puppy.
Aww. But yeah, when you orgasm, it releases the same chemicals as when you're falling in love. So just keep having sex with them. They'll fall in love eventually.
Yes.
And it's also, don't overthink it, because falling in love it's called falling for a reason. Like, you don't plan to fall.
Rise
You don't,
in love.
yes, you don't pick a specific time to fall. You just fall, right?
Yeah, you're
Falling
there.
is
So now
some kind-
rise.
Yes. Moving on. Sixth one.
Can a relationship last if a partner's family
I
and
got some-
friends don't like you? For petty reasons, style of clothing, religious views, looks, etc.
Say that again. Say it again.
Can a relationship last if a partner's family and friends don't like you? For petty reasons, style of clothing, religious views, looks, etc.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this one. Okay, first of all,
Go off, sis.
your relationship is not with him. It's with his family. I mean, wait. That was wrong. Your relationship is not with his family. It's with him. So stop putting so much emphasis on it. Yes, it can work out. It's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be really bad or it's going to be fine. And like one of the things I want to emphasize is like you are not in a relationship with his family, you're in a relationship with him, which means that you both have to understand that if it's going to work, because you're going to have to navigate this as a team. Like the team is like the key word here. Whatever reason they don't like you, their religious views, whatever, that's their business. That's their reason for not liking you. And you need to focus on what you can control. But it's going to depend on how you both navigate the relationship. Because if he doesn't have boundaries with his family,
Oh yeah,
and
then he's putting you through the, what is it? He's throwing you to the wolves.
right, like if he doesn't know how to tell his family, hey, don't talk about my partner like that when I'm around, or hey, whenever my partner and me are around, you don't do this and this, or we will get up and leave, or we will do this, or like these are the consequences of what will happen if you don't respect my partner. If he can't put his foot down with his family, that's when it's going to be a problem.
Yes,
because it's about protecting the bond and the relationship from these people, right? And so if he's a people pleaser and he doesn't know how to set boundaries and he doesn't know how to respect his own boundaries, if he doesn't know how to like follow through with what he says is going to happen when those boundaries are disrespected, it's not going to end well, because you're going to end up being resentful because he's letting them walk all over both of you.
Yes, and as a traditional Latin man who believes in polyamory, no, I'm just kidding. No, but this one is I've experienced this for the religious part. If you're dating someone of a different religion or no religion or whatever the case may be, it can be a topic that brings discomfort. But at the end of the day, it's their family. You have to find. It could be your family eventually if this leads on to something serious,
right?
But to answer your question, a relationship can last, and if there's topics of tension, then just don't touch it. But yeah, otherwise it's like you said, it's petty. Like if somebody doesn't like you because you wear Crocs, like they're right, and you shouldn't accept that.
Yeah, if you're wearing Crocs and they don't like you, they have that's a good reason.
But it doesn't mean they should treat you bad because of that. Also, so
there's very good reasons to not like someone if they're like racist or like mean, bigoted.
Rude. Or if they're at the family gathering and you don't bring shit.
But if they don't like you for petty shit, even if here's the thing, regardless of why they don't like you, you're not going to control that.
Their problems with you are their problems.
Yes, that's Azealia Banks. Exactly. Quoting Azealia Banks. Thank you. Your problems with me are not my problems. Yeah, those are your problems.
That's your man's problems.
No. Just like you are supposed to respect his family, they should be respecting you.
It's two-way street.
One of the ways that I would navigate that is just talk about it. Like here's the thing, you can't control what they say behind your back. You can only focus on what you can control. So if somebody in his family is telling y'all everything they say about you, ask them not to tell you, because you already know what they're saying and you can't stop them from saying it. It's not healthy to try to force them into being quiet, because that's their business. Just ask not to hear it. Come up with a plan with your partner. If we're ever in a situation where I feel disrespected, what are we going to do? How are we going to navigate this?
Throw fists.
No. Yeah, exactly. Like if one of your family members...
Pop his grandma. Sometimes violence is the answer. No, I know people say that, but I'm just saying, not in this case. But
yeah, so just be like, hey, like what happens if this happens? Like, what are we gonna do? It's just about navigating it together.
Yeah, you guys are both in a ship, and
Protect the relationship.
you
more
guys
than
decide the destination. It's family. Like I always say, like if you're bringing like a partner into your house, your responsibility is to make them feel comfortable,
right.
and also know you as their partner going into their family. You also have to be respectful, because it's
But-
also. It's also they have a relationship with their family, and not that you
Right.
don't want to get in between that, but you do have to be mindful of like that there's important conversations to have, because if you're in a relationship, if you have plans of like long term getting married, that's gonna be your family one day, and you have to also integrate into the dynamic.
So I don't agree that they're going to be your family one day. They're going to be relatives that you
Relatives,
will
yeah.
have to see regularly if he wants to maintain a relationship with them.
I had a partner whose mom would like tell us like, "Oh, you guys are so handsome and such good guys. You guys would make a woman so happy. Like
Ugh.
you guys should find wives." And like this is like
No.
in the like
That's
I'm
not
having
gonna fly with
like
me.
we're
That would
making
not fly
sauce
with me.
together. Like we're making salsa together. Like I'm in the molcajete and she's telling me these things, and I wanted to be like,
See, and the thing with me is like I have boundaries for myself too. So if my man does not protect mine, I'm gonna protect mine.
yes,
Like if thankfully David's mom is really sweet, but like if she were let's pretend David's mom was like that bitch, like she said that, I would look at my partner and be like, I'm going home. Like I don't want to be around this. You know what I mean?
I was like, this needs more
because
salt.
really like girl, this
Yeah.
needs salt. Can I
Just fuck with them. Just they don't, they don't like raisins. Bring the potato salad with raisins. Just subtle shade works.
If they're gonna be petty, bitch.
Go off.
I can, if this question was shaped differently, I would have given you some petty advice because I'm the petty queen.
They want to be petty, you be petty, or
yeah.
Tom Petty.
Just don't like kill them or anything. Don't like
Yeah,
put
no.
something. Don't like put an allergic. Don't like peanuts in their food if they're like allergic.
But yeah, your relationship will be fine. It's as long as you guys communicate it, you guys know they're in this together, you should be fine. Now, if he's like, you shouldn't be like that with my mom, or you should act this way in front of then you need to change partner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next one.
Dump him. His mom will take him. The next,
Yeah,
the
tell him
next
to
one
marry
is
his
such
mom.
a novela.
Okay, this is.
This
Oh,
is like,
I'm reading
this
it.
is not Mujer Casos de la Vida Real. By
Look
the
at
way.
how long.
Like,
No,
this is
I'm
like-
happy that
Yes, thank you.
I am happy that he
It's
took
very
the time.
vulnerable. Yeah.
This person submitted like a very like detailed question, which is nice because now we know all the.
Yeah,
tea.
we have all the tea, but
I wish we had a teacup
Yeah.
because this one's good. Okay, this is the last one. I'm out of a 17-year relationship as of a year and a half ago. It's definitely very much over with no chance of getting back together, and I'm good with that. I'm at peace and I'm dating someone and I love him. Every once in a while, I find myself doubting his actions and intentions with me, but it's only because I'm very paranoid that he's doing to me what I was doing with my ex-husband. I cheated on him for years. I've been at therapy. I know that was a twist. I was like,
it was taking a lot of time. Yeah, go ahead.
girl, I was like, okay, I've been to therapy and I've forgiven myself for the damage I did. But now I think maybe I haven't truly forgiven myself because I sometimes think that what I have now is too good to be true and that karma is soon coming for me. I tell myself constantly I don't deserve to be happy because of what I did in my past. Deep down, I believe I'm a new and changed and better person, but there's still a voice in my head that tells me I don't deserve happiness. Is that true? How can I undo those thoughts?
All right. So this is a lot to unpack here, but to kind of be brief, you are a whole person. Your mistakes don't make you. We need to go through things and make mistakes to learn. That's how wisdom sometimes comes about. And like I say, you're a whole person. You are flawed, and you also have the chance to make right of some wrongs. Something that you said, it was that I am a new and changed person. And this is just when people use these words, when in conversation, I always tell people, I'm like, that's you. Like you don't have to be a new person. You're still the same person. You did that. And I think maybe that's why it's harder to kind of move on, because when those feelings come about, when those thoughts come about, you should remember, like you cheated on a person, you felt the pain, and that is that is sometimes the punishment. Like there's nothing worse than to hurt someone and to have to deal with what you did to someone. And that in itself, I feel, for me, like whenever I've hurt people, like that's the biggest punishment, to hurt someone that you love and care for. How will someone forgive you if you can't forgive yourself? So you really, once you're able to really forgive yourself, then I think you might realize that that person probably does forgive you. And if they don't, that's also fine. You're not always going to be forgiven, but you still have, it seems like you're still going through the process of grieving that loss.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
So-
a touchy subject, because now you're in a
Okay.
new relationship, and you just have to, when those thoughts come about, don't feel that this person is gonna like, the concept of karma, sometimes just because you did something doesn't mean that somebody else is gonna do the same thing to you.
Right.
And you also can't put that onto your partner, because now you're putting the suspicion of them doing this to you because you did to someone. When those thoughts come about, when you're feeling that way, just think of yourself. Like this helps me a lot. Like I think of myself as a child, because when I have negative thoughts and I'm thinking like you're shit, you're this, whatever is negative that I'm telling myself, I like to look back at little Omar when he was 5 years old, and how, because then you're able to really be compassionate for yourself, and it really does transmit to all your other relationships. You do grow more compassionate for others, and just be kind to yourself, and really don't ignore those thoughts. Acknowledge them. Know where you're coming from.
I have a whole speech for this because I've been through this, exactly what you're going through. First of all, I want to applaud you for going to therapy. You cheated. There's a lot of reasons why people cheat. I remember I talked to my therapist about this one time, and she said, sometimes we cheat. Like, there's a lot of reasons. Maybe they're not meeting you emotionally. They're not meeting your needs. So you thought that you would find that in someone else. Maybe physically they're not meeting your needs, and instead of asking for it like you were supposed to, even though it was going to be uncomfortable, you decided to go get it somewhere else. Maybe you needed distance. People cheat sometimes because they need distance between them and their partner.
Fire needs air. Fire needs air. Sometimes if you're just too close to your partner all the time, you lose sense of it. It almost
I see
becomes,
what you're saying.
you kind of become you think of yourself as you and your partner, and you lose that part of yourself. And a lot of people cheat because they need a reminder of who they used to be, or their independence. It's not a healthy way, but it's reclaiming their independence. That's why I say fire needs air. Sometimes you need a little space for that fire to continue.
The problem with that, the problem is that sometimes we cheat because we need that distance, and we don't have it in ourselves. We don't know how to communicate that. And so we go, like, by cheating, you create that distance between you and your partner that you should have asked for.
A little thrill.
Like verbally, right? And so there's a lot of different reasons. I'm just stating some of them.
So many.
The point is that you did it, right? And that person that you harmed, they get to be mad for as long as they want, and they never have to forgive you. But you don't get to do that. You don't get to be mad at yourself for the rest of your life. You don't get to not forgive yourself for the rest of your life. You have to forgive yourself. You have to be graceful with yourself. Being graceful with yourself does not mean, oh, it's okay that I cheated. No. It means that you cheated and what you did was wrong, but you're not going to torture yourself for the rest of your life for it. I used to do the same thing as you. I used to call myself names, say that I didn't deserve to be happy, say that I didn't deserve to be like happiness, whatever. But there are people out there who do make the same mistakes, don't learn from their mistakes, and they still find happiness. Like, why can't you? That's the question. Why do you feel like you can't? You're going to do one of two things. You're either going to let this mistake destroy you in your future relationships, or you're going to take this mistake and say, what I did, like, something good has to come from it. I have to become a better person from what I did, right? And it sounds like you chose that path. My therapist, one time, we were talking about a mistake that I made, and she was like, and I'm going to tell the same thing to you. If it was your best friend, let's say your best friend came into the room and was like, hey, I cheated on my partner a long time ago. I'm with somebody new, but I feel like I don't deserve to be happy. Would you tell your friend, yeah, well, that's what you get. You don't deserve to be happy. Like, no, talk to yourself how you would talk to your friend.
Be your own fucking best friend.
Yeah. Talk to yourself how you would talk to your friend. Like, I remember when she was talking to me about that mistake, she's like, would you tell yourself that? You're disgusting. Why the fuck did you do that? She was like, would you tell your friend that if your friend came up to you and told you that they did what you're telling me? And I was like, no, I would be like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't kick yourself over it. It's okay. You can move on. And she was like, okay, so why are you talking to yourself that way?
Yeah.
Like, talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend if they told you what you're telling me now.
Sometimes we tell ourselves the worst things, or we don't have the same compassion
for ourselves
than we have for other people.
Right.
And this is a 17-year relationship. It's really tough to move on. I mean, I've been in
Mm-hmm.
long relationships, and there's still like stuff that that just sometimes I get triggered, and like something will come up and it takes me back. But
ruining your self-esteem over a mistake that you made is not going to help you become the person that you were meant to become because of that mistake. That mistake was meant to turn you into a better person. Take that and actually become it. Don't let the guilt and the shame ruin the gift that could come from what you did. Because yes, you fucked up. We all fuck up. But now you decide.
Yeah.
Are you going to be better? Or are you going to let that shame and guilt rob you of who you can become because of that?
Take ownership of your mistakes, because also you don't get to feel bad about yourself for something that you did to someone. You also have to take ownership to that.
I think you do get to feel bad about yourself because your feelings are valid. What I don't think you get to do, I don't think you should do is dwell on it. And
your partner also, like,
yeah, because your partner sees so many great things in you. That's why he chose to love you. You need to see those great things in yourself, because you're doing him a disservice also. You're by not allowing yourself to be the happiest that you can be for him, because that relationship is done. And like, you're in a new one. And this is not between you and your ex. This is not between you and your new partner. This is between you and yourself. You owe your new partner the best, happiest version of yourself, and you can give it to them. People who go to therapy, that's a big step. That means that you were able to hold yourself accountable in therapy.
Oh, yeah.
People don't go to therapy a lot of times because they don't want to hold themselves accountable. They don't want to have to face their mistakes. You did. That shows growth.
For 1 year, that's all I talked about. At some point, you get tired of like, okay, but like, where was my doing in this? Like, where was my responsibility? So yeah, it's I don't know, 17 years. That's a tough one, but
yeah,
like we said, it's you have to move on from this, and like I think that suggestion is great. Trauma therapy, and yeah, just you have a new relationship. It's a new start. There's no erasing and starting over. You can't carry the same mentality onto the new relationship, but you can bring the wisdom from the previous relationship.
Right. That was a long show.
Yes, that was, yeah.
How long was that?
I don't know. It's been like 2 hours.
It was a 2-hour
like 2
episode?
hours or 1.5. I don't know. We started at like, maybe an hour. But
Okay.
yeah, I think just wanted to say, like, in Mexico, like February 14th is like we celebrate friendship and love. I think here it's more geared towards love and like romanticism and selling chocolates and dinners. So it's also a good way, like just now we're in the mood. We're seeing all these hearts and chocolates. Like, tell your friends you love them. Do something nice for them.
Yeah.
It's like,
do something nice for the people you love. I used to get all my friends roses and stuff and throw a singles party.
I remember there's a video of you in like the ice throwing roses at cars. Was that right?
That was Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, yeah. And you were in your underwear. So for those of you
It's on
thirsty
my profile.
motherfuckers, yeah, go and see
I was
it.
skinny though.
Yeah.
I was like a little twink. Okay. But we have to go because I don't want to pay any more money.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks so much for listening, y'all. All right, bye.